Real shame for the former class-leading Nissan. Here's the Michelin race update and how they run so far. Mercedes, Audi, Mercedes, the top three, and German Marks first through fourth with Porsche in there. Shane Van Gisbergen and Clark Quinn going nicely. The first of the Ferraris is the Clearwater car running in fifth place. This is your class standings. Interesting to note, the little Holden Astra going very well in Race Fuels Class E. But John, there's some pretty serious pit lane activity happening.
Thomas Jaeger has been called in. This is tremendous tactics as the safety car board is out. The safety car I haven't seen moving. It's sitting with its flashing lights going, and Jaeger is already out of the car as the fuel is going in. And that should be then Bernd Schneider, I reckon, getting into that car, is it?
Yep, it would be with he's the only one to not have driven that car so far today. So race leaders.
How close to that was their stop, Paul?
To their scheduled stop. Yeah. It was within 3 or 4 laps, so it was good timing for them. But it does mean that Andreas Simonsen in the number 1 Audi has gone through. He didn't come into the pits. The number 1 car stayed out, so we now have the number 1 Audi leading the race, and it will come through at the end of the lap. I assume, and will therefore take over the lead. It'll be the 5th change of lead and the 5th car in the lead as well, whilst nearly everybody else comes into the pits as well, taking advantage of this 4th safety car period.
Sharon Hire BMW, class leader, into the pit lane. Also coming in, Brendan Hartley from the 9th position in the United Autosports car. Christian Zugel in the 81. It's the Zayas Group Rembrandt Charms Audi he had with that very scary looking puncture for Eric Lux earlier on. They've dropped down to 18th position. He's in the pit lane as well, has the number 71, the Equity One Mergers Fund, the sort of just off-white and dark maroon Audi R8 LMS Ultra. And that comes in out of 15th position. And here is the leader, Andreas Simonsen, and again a lap after everybody else in the pit lane. Pedigree Pet Foods car, Shane Van Gisbergen in 2nd place, a lap after everybody else. Just missed the call to get into the pit lane. I'm not sure how much this is going to cost them, but again we're going to have the wave by. I think the safety car was waiting for those guys to come back around, and now they've dived into the pits. They're going to have to let everybody else go through and pick up Thomas Jaeger again. Matt Griffin has stayed out in the 33 car, and he's going to make up a heap of call. Yeah, well, really good call. Yes, but he's now owes us a pit stop. That's the only thing. Let's get some update from the pits. Here's Grant Boyd.
Yeah, Barton Moore's Porsche was just down here in pit lane. Bart, can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, we just got the flat shifter not quite working, and we're just having a bit of trouble with doing some nice gear changes. So just while the safety car was out, we wanted to just check it and download it and see if we can make it better, but otherwise all going well.
How big a problem is this going to be? I mean, you say you can't do smooth gear changes. Are you able to effectively do gear changes at all?
Yeah, we can. We can work around it. We lift on the upshift now, but the problem is it'll be a bit hard on the gearbox. And obviously we want to make 12 hours, so just a precautionary just to make sure we can make the distance.
Thanks for your time, Bart.
Thanks, mate.
Green flag is back out. We're back under racing conditions with 8.5 hours remaining, 3.5 in to the Liquimoli Bathurst 12 hour. We'll try and sort all this out for you folks, and we will get an explanation, be it from someone at the end of a phone line or someone in pit lane or race control, but we will sort this out because I want to know as much as the next person what exactly they're thinking in the way they sort this out. So Alan Simonsen, Bernd Schneider, 3.8 seconds as they crossed the line at racing speed, so the timing hadn't quite updated when they're at that second intermediate. Then Lee Holdsworth, 7 seconds I should say, behind, and then we count for Ciocci to come through in 4th place. But there's more news from pit lane. Let's go there now.
Craig Lowndes now joins me, and the really good news is you've made up that lap with Warren Luff behind the wheel.
Yeah, look, Luffy has done a tremendous job. It's obviously quite difficult for everyone to be obviously getting through the traffic and everything else, but he had a great battle there with the Mercedes and the Ferrari, and I believe we're back on the lead lap now, so it's game on, and he's had a service, he's back out there, he's on fresh tyres and some fuel, and we'll see what he does.
Drama out on the racetrack there as the 88 of Alan Simonson is into the pit lane now. Looks like he may have a tyre problem or something, because he just came to almost a halt coming out of the Fulton Tyres elbow, gave up track position, although not overall position, as Mark Patterson no, in fact that was overall position. Mark Patterson's gone through and taken the 8th position, and that car must surely have a tyre issue. They've got a new set of Michelins ready for it, Krilsey.
Yeah, so massive dramas. It was very, very slow across the top, and Simonson backed out. Last year this car had a fueling issue. It was a fuel pressure problem that slowed them right down and ultimately dropped them right out of contention. So Simonson in pit lane. The other Simonson leads the race in the Audi, and 1 second in front of Bernd Schneider in the 36.
Oh, this is the class leader. This is the Sharon's Hire BMW, and that, I'm afraid, is an engine not as it came out of Munich. It is beginning to leave some of its internal fluids, if not some of its internal workings, all the way up the racing line of the mountain straight, and that is not great news for everyone following the Sharon's car out of Hell Corner and up towards Griffin Bend.
Please get off the racetrack.
Stop the car. Stop that car. Do not drive over the top of the mountain with that. Well, that is very white. It could be water, but I'm guessing that those of you who are around that area are smelling burning oil at the moment.
Has blown up, sir. That car is in a world of pain. Race control need to be on that and tell them where things are at. Here's some Audis dicing United Autosports. The Squirk.com car with Warren Luff doing a great job. Not quite for position, is it? Well, Luff and Van Gisbergen is for position. So the red Audi, the orange Audi and the Porsche behind. But the United Autosports car with Mark Patterson behind the wheel is a lap back from these two, dicing back in 9th place. As they go through the heat haze and the smog up there at turn 2, left from that BMW, and well done to the United car for just ducking out of the way of a battle for track position. Yeah. My personal opinion is that that's pretty irresponsible stuff, and once you'd have a fairly reasonable idea that the engine was blown fairly quickly, and the team at the very least could have got on the radio and told them to get that car off. And aside from the fact that it could be the difference between killing an engine or not if you shut it down straight away.
Oh yeah.
And you could bring the car back on a flatbed, restart, as we've heard from Chris Porritt today. But what successfully happened there is that car has left 5 odd litres of BMW's finest around, or Liqui Moly. That's not a good ad for Liqui Moly, isn't it? We don't want to deposit the sponsor's product.
It needs to
on
stay
the racetrack.
inside. That's where it does its best work.
Exactly right. So it's been left around Mount Panorama, and as a result, the circuit is going to be very challenging for a while. And a lot of teams just sticking their head out of the pit bunker under our commentary box and just sort of running their fingers through it to see exactly what it was, and they'll get on the radio and tell their teams.
There's a car stationed on the circuit, John.
And that, sadly, is the Daytona Coupe, or Daytona Coupe if you use the Americans, and that is just after the first right-handed part of the chicane coming down the chase.
Oh, into the garage.
Goodness.
For Maranello Motorsport, they are pushing car 88 into the garage.
The right front suspension is wrong on that car. It's not right, it's wrong. There's been a failure on the hub, or at least on the upright.
Remember the contact, John.
With the wall in that first full course caution period when he was trying. It was Mika Salo at the wheel. We've seen it in the Michelin hourly updates, brushing the wall on the right hand side as he went up the cutting. Both of those right hand side tyres were white walled and had scuff marks.
So this is the rip on the
left hand side of the screen.
So squeezed out when this contact with the Porsche, Mika Salo was driving, and the right front of the Maranello Ferrari made contact with the hefty concrete wall. That set off the chain of events, but it's obviously taken since then for that contact to actually break something. We have a safety car on the racetrack again, and the driver of the Ferrari, the Clearwater car, very unhappy with some of the lap traffic not going quick enough behind the safety car, and that's costing them track position. Let's take this opportunity to have a look at our Michelin race update. Bernd Schneider leading the way in the Mercedes-Benz, Harold Primar and Andreas Simonson second for Audi, and the second Erebus Motorsport Merc running in third. Here are your class leaders at the end of the hour. Ivo Bruckers behind the wheel of the Holden Astra, still leading Class E. The Lotus still doing a great job in Maguire's Invitational 1. It's been a dramatic and unpredictable Liqui Moly Bathurst 12 hours so far.
And we are green flag racing with 4 hours and 23 minutes exactly completed. Into the pit lane from 16th position comes Christian Zugel as we go green, and we're waiting for the leader to go through, and Lee Holdsworth has gone through in the 63 Erebus Mercedes-Benz. He's got Roloff behind him, Alexander Roloff, his teammate if you like, by just 0.6 of a second at the line. They're carving their way through the traffic as they go up the mountain straight for the first time. The rest of the field pouring through Hell Corner, and it's Christopherson in third for the number 1 Audi, and then Rob Salmon, isn't it, who's in the 6 car? Yes, it is, in 4th position. Craig Baird has climbed aboard the 33, the Ferrari in 5th position that has just been given up by Matt Griffin. So they did change drivers then, at least, Rich, for that, if not very much else. So they haven't yet, presumably, answered their black flag.
Yeah, and you cannot serve a drive-through penalty under safety car conditions.
But I don't think they did, because Bairdos got in the car, so Griffin got out.
But yes, but they stopped twice under that safety car. They went through pit lane once and then came through and completed their stop. So
slapped me around the back of the head, sorry.
I expect Craig Baird, he's going to have to come back in again. We'll keep it